When my daughter-in-law told me to leave, I smiled instead of crying. It wasn't because I wasn't hurt or because I didn't care. No, it was the opposite. I smiled because I knew deep down that if I let the tears fall, it would never stop. And what good would that do? She had made her decision, and I was powerless to change it. I stood there, right in her kitchen, with my heart breaking into pieces. I looked around, seeing the family photos on the walls, the ones where we all looked so happy together. My son, his children, the house filled with laughter. Now, there was only silence. She stood in front of me, her face cold, her eyes hard as she told me I didn't belong there anymore. She told me I was too old, too much of a burden. I should go, and so I did. I took my things and walked out of the home I had helped create, leaving behind the family I thought would always love me. That was the day my world changed. The day I realized that even the ones you love the most can turn their backs on you when you least expect it. I never imagined this would happen. After all, I had always been there for them. Always. But that day, it felt like I was a stranger, unwanted and unnecessary. The pain of watching them walk away without a second thought is something I still can't quite explain. But I'll tell you this. I never stopped loving them, even as they pushed me out. Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes you give, and when you need them the most, they're nowhere to be found. I've always been the kind of person who believed that family was everything, that no matter what happened, you could count on your family to be there. It was my guiding principle, my belief, and I held on to it for years with all my heart. But I learned slowly that things are never as simple as we want them to be. I married young. My husband, Thomas, was a kind and patient man. We had our ups and downs, like any couple, but we built a life together. It wasn't a grand life, but it was ours. We had 2 children, both of whom I loved with every ounce of my being. My son, Jason, and my daughter Lily were my world. Jason especially had always been so close to me. As a boy, he would crawl into my lap after school, telling me all about his day, his dreams, his little worries. I cherished those moments. He had a tenderness about him that always made me feel needed, valued. And then, of course, there was Lily, my sweet girl, who brought such joy into our home. Years passed, and life moved on. Jason got married to Sarah, a woman I was happy to welcome into our family. They had children of their own. Lily moved out, started her own life as well. I thought to myself, this is what life is about. Watching your children grow, build families of their own. I was so proud. I never expected that the very thing I loved so much would become the thing that would break. It started small at first. A comment here, a glance there. I didn't think much of it. You see, when you get older, you begin to notice things more. Or maybe you just start to read between the lines. It wasn't anything overt, just subtle signs that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as welcome as I once was. At first, it was the little things. I'd visit Jason's house, and Sarah would give me a tight smile, but I could see the exhaustion in her eyes. It wasn't the warm, open welcome I used to get. I would offer to help in the kitchen, and she would politely refuse, saying she had everything under control. But I could tell she didn't want me in the way. Then, there were the children. Oh, how they used to run into my arms the moment I walked in. "Grandma! Grandma!" they'd shout, their little arms outstretched. But now, when I walked in, they barely glanced up from their toys. When I asked them about their day, I'd get a quick "good," and then they'd run off to play again. It hurt, but I brushed it off. Maybe they were just busy. Maybe I was overthinking things. After all, I was getting older. Things were changing. But the feeling of being invisible, unwanted, was starting to creep in. I didn't know how to shake it. One afternoon, Jason called me. "Mom," he said, "we need to talk." My heart sank. I could tell something was wrong by the way he spoke. The tone was different, flat. "What's going on?" I asked, trying to keep the worry out of my voice. "It's Sarah. She's been having a hard time with everything. The kids, the house, and, well, with you too." I felt a knot tighten in my chest. "What do you mean with me?" Jason hesitated, then sighed. "Mom, you're always here. You're always around, and Sarah feels like it's too much. She needs space." My heart sank even further. Space. I had been around, yes, but only because I loved them. I thought I was helping, trying to be a part of their lives. But I didn't realize that in doing so, I had become a burden. "I don't want to cause problems," I said softly. "I just want to help, but if I'm making things harder, I'll step back." Jason was quiet for a long time. I could hear the tension in his voice when he finally spoke. "Maybe it's best if you take a break for a while. Sarah says it would be easier if you didn't visit so often." I didn't know what to say. I just nodded, even though he couldn't see me. My own son, asking me to stay away. It was as if I wasn't welcome in my own family anymore. But I agreed quietly. I didn't want to cause more tension. Things went on like this for a while. I stayed away, giving them the space they needed. But every day, my heart grew heavier. It was the silence that hurt the most. The absence of their voices. The empty space where once there had been love and laughter. I started to feel like I didn't belong anywhere. Then, one day, I got a call from Sarah. Her voice was cold, almost detached. "We need you to leave," she said. I blinked, not understanding at first. "What do you mean? Where would I go?" "You need to find somewhere else to stay," she repeated, her voice firm. "We just can't have you here anymore." I felt a chill run through me. It was as if the floor had dropped out from under me. I couldn't breathe. I had been waiting for a moment like this, but I didn't think it would come so suddenly, so cruelly. "I don't understand," I whispered, my voice shaking. "I've always been there for you, for all of you. What happened? Where did I go wrong?" There was a pause on the other end. "You're not wrong," she said, but it felt like an empty statement. "But we can't keep living like this. It's not working anymore." I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask her why. Why had it come to this? But instead, I just said, "Okay." I don't know why I said it. Maybe it was because I was too tired to fight. Or maybe it was because I realized, deep down, that this was the end. That night, I packed my things. I didn't tell Jason yet. I knew that if I did, he would try to fix things. But I didn't want him to feel torn between me and Sarah. I didn't want to make him choose. I found a little place to stay. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I kept busy, trying not to think too much about what had happened. But no matter how much I tried to distract myself, the loneliness was always there. The emptiness of my heart, the longing for a family that no longer wanted me. Weeks passed. Then one day, Jason called. He wanted to come see me. When he arrived, he looked at me, his face filled with guilt. "Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't know it would get to this. I didn't know she would ask you to leave." I didn't say anything. I just nodded, wiping the tears away before they could fall. "I don't know what happened, but I never wanted to hurt you," he continued. "Sarah, she doesn't understand. But I do. I know you do," I said softly. "I just don't know if I can ever go back. I can't keep feeling like I'm in the way, like I'm a burden." Jason took my hand. "You're not a burden. You're my mother. You're my family. I've been blind and so has Sarah. I'm so sorry." We sat there, both of us crying for what felt like hours. Finally, I looked up and smiled. "I forgive you, Jason. I forgive you both." And I did. I didn't want to hold on to the pain anymore. I didn't want to live in the past. We all had our mistakes, our moments of weakness. But forgiveness was the only way forward. It's been some time since that day. Things aren't perfect, but they're better. Jason and Sarah have tried to make things right, and I've tried to move on. It's not easy. Forgiving someone doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting what happened and making peace with it. I still miss the days when my grandchildren would run into my arms, when the house was filled with love and laughter. But now I've learned to find peace in the quiet moments. I've learned that family is important, but so is self-respect. I won't let anyone make me feel less than I am. Life goes on, and though the pain of that day will always linger, I know that love, real love, will always find a way to heal. In the end, we all want the same thing, to be loved and to feel needed. If you have that, cherish it, because life can change in the blink of an eye, and you never know when your family might walk away without looking back. But don't worry, you'll find your way back to yourself, no matter how lost you feel. You'll find peace, and that's all that matters.